Hello, it's me Chris from ABC Art. Before we start doing artwork on this channel, I'm going to have to show you different tools for doing that artwork. Tomorrow we're doing a painting on this channel. But first, I need to show you all the different painting tools you'll use. There are other painting tools you can use. There's lots of different types of painting tools, but here is the most common. And I'm going to teach you which one works. We'll start with the easels. This is a desk easel. It's a desk easel. Very good for putting canvases, boards, canvas boards for painting on the table. You put your canvas in it, put that down and paint. So this is a desk easel, very useful for smaller canvases, usually from A4 to A5 or 16 inch to 18 inch. So that's a desk easel.
And the shutdown thing on the screen.
Yeah, you know what a desk easel is? Toilet roll. Very good for drying your brush. Or maybe getting paint off your table, wet paint or water spilt. So that's toilet roll. Not too much to say about that, in fact. That's what the toilet roll will be used for. A stand-up easel. Very good for standing up, for doing even bigger paintings. Could be from A2 canvas boards to A1 canvas boards. Or 17 to 18 inch, or 20 to 21 inch, or even 22 inch. You can even go up to 35 inch with this one. Now, this is a stand-up easel, designed for very big boards. So you just put your board on it, and then adjust the size so you can paint. So that's a stand-up easel. Another useful little thing. A painting palette. Very useful for putting your paint in, dip your brush in, and paint on your canvas. It can also be used for water. Put water in it instead of paint to clean your brush. That's what it only has two uses really. For putting paint in to paint on your canvas or putting water in. So that's a paint palette for you. Now you know about that.
This is why we don't use tarts.
Painting sponges. Very good for dabbing on your board. If you want dabbing painting. Like water if you want it really shiny. Light and shiny. Sponges are dip it in the paint and dab. Very, very good for that. They can also be very good for bushes. Like dab, dab, dab. Very good for dabbing sponges. Stuff like that. A tray. A tray is very good for putting water in to clean your brush. For cleaning your brush. This could also be used for putting paint in. For your painting roller. But really, we all use this one now for water. So that's this. It has two uses. For water, to clean your brushes, or for putting paint in for your roller. Bigger paintbrushes. This 2-inch brush. These are very useful for big canvases if you need to cover up a massive area like grass, water. If you're doing a lot of sea or a lot of grass or a big thing on your board, very good for that. But it's really big and it will cover it quickly.
My TV
So these are very, very good for really big areas, like if you're doing a lot of grass or a lot of water, a lot of sky and so on. So a 2-inch brush. A 3-inch brush. These are very good for really big areas. Really big areas. Grass, sky, or anything really big. So that's the 3-inch brush. That's what the 3 inches brush is intended for. A 1-inch brush. Very good for small areas. Like if you're doing a bit of grass, a bit of sky, or just big,
Max keeps calling
or
me.
just small things. So that's the 1-inch brush. It has plenty of uses, this type of brush, for like small areas
Okay,
and
can we
so
pick
on.
Max?
Very good. Maybe also good for bushes like this. Dab. Very good for that. Two and a half inch brush. 2.5
He keeps
inch.
calling me, so I can't go on these.
Sam, shut up. 2.5 inch. Very good for like bushes again. Bigger bushes maybe. Or a lot of sky. A lot of grass. Or a lot of sand on the beach.
Okay, I'm leaving the game. Bye.
Very good for medium areas, this type of brush. So
No, because he's just gonna call me.
a 1.5 inch brush, 1.5 inches. Very good for really small areas, like small landscapes, like grass, sky, and stuff like that. Could also be used for small
Did
brushes.
you walk in front of me?
Some soap, dabbing even. So that's the 1.5 inch brush. Now you know what that is. I'm just going to put these away. I've already told you what these are for. Painting roller. Very good for rolling out instead of using a brush. If you want it to be really smooth, a roller is your right option for smooth areas, skies, grass, sand, and so on. So that's a roller. That's all I can say about a roller. Palette knives. This type of palette knife here is very good for smoothing out water. It's very good for water, this one, water paintings. If you want a lining around the water, very good for scraping along. Can also be used for doing a tree route. So it's very good for like straight lines, this type of knife. So this palette knife is very common. This one's very good for doing straight edges out, but scraping paint along to make a nice effect. Should also be used for putting small lines into stuff, taking paint off stuff, like making a small even line. So that's what this palette knife's for. This palette knife is very good for doing
Stop teaming.
This,
That just proves that you're bad.
this palette knife is very good for putting lines in stuff as well. Also very good for like making really big lines into stuff that's really big. Yep, so that's this type of palette knife. This type of palette knife is for the same thing as the last one I've shown, for making big lines and stuff, but for even smaller lines, on small paintings even. So that's what that's for. Boy, that's nice. Well, that's what's really very good for that. Yeah. This one is exactly the same as the last one, but for even bigger lines.
Mate, you just sprayed for one. And why do you have it in there? I thought it was bumped around.
This palette knife is very good for putting like tree trunks in from the like grass to the ground. This is very good for like putting like trees from the sky to the ground for the trunk. That this shape's very good for. This one only has that type of use from trees to the ground by putting brown on it and scraping it down. That's what this one's very good for. Now, and last not least, these brushes. This type of brush is very good for putting lines in the water, around the water, instead of using a palette knife. This is a painted sponge on a stick. Very good for putting like bushes for dabbing or perhaps doing some very shiny water. So that's what that's good for. A fan brush. Very good for doing trees or clouds. So that's what a fan brush is for. This is exactly the same thing, putting lines in water. This type of brush is very good for dabbing or going around shapes. This brush is very good for staying in the line. This type of brush. This one's very good for small stuff to keep it in the line. Very long, aren't they? These three for exactly the same water. These are very good for doing a line in a cloud or something, or anything you like. These are very good for painting in small things. Say if you put a very small person in on the painting, paint the clothing in, or painting anything small. That's what these are for. These are for painting really small things. These are tended more for like dabbing small things. If you want to dab a very small bush in, or if you want to put snow in the sky or something, very good for dabbing that. These two brushes are very good for painting in bigger things. Like if you've drawn a big person on a painting, painting it in. And this one's exactly the same. Now you know what all the painting tools are used for. So I'll see you tomorrow doing our painting. Goodbye. Please subscribe. Goodbye.